So in the week before the interim, we are going to start studying SIN 501. This tends to be a really difficult standard just because it's about so many different things. So it's all about experimental design. So remember, our first step is still going to be read the question, because for these ones you have to figure out what they're asking first. So which of the following represents a quantity that was known by the students? So this one is asking, so determine what they're asking for, right? Determine what you need to know, or need to learn, rather. So this one says what quantity was known by the students. So here, what did we know in the experiment? And then you refer back to the passage. Okay, so 4 students performed experiments to determine the identity of an unknown chemical, which they called chemical X. During their experiments, they dissolved chemical X in a 0.1 molar solution of C2H4O2. They produced an unknown gas, so that's unknown. So chemical Z is unknown, or gas Z is unknown. Chemical X is unknown. Then they made the following observations. So what did they actually know? So concentration of C2H4O2 used, C2H4O2, C2H4O2. Concentration, so that's going to be a yes. Melting temperature, no. Molecular formula, definitely not, because it was unknown. Ionization rate of H2O at STP. It doesn't mention ionization rate at all, so we can cross that off. So the answer to number 1 is A. Number 2. What is the dependent variable in experiment 1 to 3? So a lot of times these will be about variable. So I need to know my dependent variable. Now, a dependent variable in an experiment is what you're trying to figure out, what you record. So there's 3 ways. It's what you record. It is the effect, right? So it's like the effect or result. And then you can also figure out by where it is on the graph. So the location in the graph or the table. Okay, so in experiments 1 through 3, what were we trying to determine? So, bathwater was prepared. The results are shown in figure 1. Let's go to these figures. So I'm going to look at the figures first. So my dependent variable is always on the y-axis, always. And then in the on a table, the dependent variable is the right side. So my y-axis is reaction time. My right side is reaction time. And then it's also reaction time. So there's a key theme here. We see reaction time 3 times. So it's going to be, for number 2, the answer is C. All right. Which of the following was not directly controlled by experiments in experimenter 2? So what did we not do? Okay, so we look at experiment 2. I'm asking, and it's going to ask us, what did we not do as scientists? So we're going to go back to experiment 2, and let's read it. Procedure from experiment 1 was repeated at a constant temperature of 25 degrees. So that was controlled. And then 10 milliliters of solution B, so that was controlled. Distilled were combined in various volumes to create 10 milliliters of the diluted solution. That was controlled. Now, let's see what else, because it says the procedure was repeated from experiment 1. So we're looking at just solution A and solution B. So the concentration of solution A, concentration of solution B were poured. 5-degree bath water, test tubes were placed in the water bath, mixed together. The starch is an indicator. So this one, they held the temperature constant. Now, for number 3, what was not directly controlled by the experimenters in experiment 2? So for number 3, that again, if it's not directly controlled, that's going to point to it being a dependent variable, okay? So if it's not directly controlled, that means that it's going to be your dependent variable. So again, we can just look to the right side of the column after that too. So get yourself familiar with the experiment, but then also the answers a lot of times to SIN 501 are usually in the table. So again, that's a dependent variable. We need to look for our dependent variable, and that is, again, our reaction time. Okay, number 4, which of the following best explains why the experimenters measured the reaction time of undiluted solution A at 25 degrees in experiment 2? So, anytime that it asks you, like, why the experimenters did something, that's going to usually be for one of the variables. Now here, it says undiluted. And so if you see the word like that's going to hint to you that it's a control. Because the control variables you don't do anything to. So control equals nothing happens. So if it says undiluted, why did we want a base level? Why did we want something undiluted? So the answer to 4 is C, because here it says to establish a control. So if you see like that we didn't do anything to this solution, then you're going to see a control. All right, number 5. In experiment 2, so again, experiment 2 is the place that we go. The amount of distilled H2O added changed as a result of changing what? So here the answer is going to be in our table. So why did we change the amount of water that we added? So let's see. Here it was because we changed the amount of solution A. So let's see there. And it is the volume of solution A. So the answer to that one is B. And again, the results were in the table. So if it says as a result of changing, that's asking you what your independent variable was. Okay? As a result of changing will always be about your independent variable. And that's all she wrote.